Greetings, critters. It's Fox here, and welcome to my Burrow of Thoughts, aka my channel where we talk about everything spooky. And today will be a spooky double book review of some books I read by FLINT Maxwell. I have The Creature and The Whispers. So settle into your burrows because things are about to get spooky. A little bit about the plot of The Creature by FLINT Maxwell. When John's brother dies in gruesome and mysterious circumstances in the local woods, he is thrown into a world of grief. 1 year later, when a camera and a film contest to win comes into his life, he thinks things might be changing for the better. He and two friends venture into the woods to film his creature feature, but they are faced with horror and pain that is unimaginable to anyone. My thoughts on The Creature by FLINT Maxwell. So this is the first book I've read by this author, and it had a really, really, really strong opening. I had such high hopes for this book. It really grabbed you in the opening sequence with its creature elements, the intrigue, the get out of the woods hastily before you meet your demise kind of vibes. And then it just slowed down into nothingness. It had way too much day-to-day life. Not even so much day-to-day with dealing with grief, that was sprinkled in there, but mostly it was just day-to-day life. Him getting a camera from his mother for his birthday, being super stoked about it. Him meeting a friend and recruiting him to film a creature feature with him with this new camera. Venturing into the woods took way too long to get to in this book. The first 2/3 of this book is just day to day. There's not really much intrigue, there's not enough mystery, there's just not much to the plot in those parts of the book. The character development really bummed me out because with one character, you are given a plot spoiler, and that really bummed me out. Because it took my willingness to finish the story wind out of my sails. Once I knew, I was kind of like, what's the point? So I love creature features, and I know I can be hard on the trope and the whole creature feature elements, but when I go into a creature feature, what I am looking for is a fight for survival, intrigue with what the creature is, a little bit of mystery, and some blood. That's all I'm asking for. Yet, apparently it's hard to accomplish these days. I'm still struggling to find a creature feature other than Wasp Canyon by Danielle McCrory that really strikes a chord with me. So that was a bummer that this fell short. What the monster was cool enough, but not unique enough to make the first 2/3 of this book worth it, in my opinion. I do wish I had DNF'd it, which is saying something because I genuinely feel guilty DNFing books just because I know that writing a book is so hard. I mean, it comes naturally to some, but it's still a hard feat to finish a whole book. And then publishing it or self-publishing it, like, I just want to say that I respect this author and his work, and though this book wasn't for me, as a creature feature, I did like some parts of it, like what the creature was, the last third of the book, the woods. That was all great. It just had so much day to day in it that I just had a hard time liking this book. It had a little bit of discussion about racism after 9/11, which I was there for. I thought that was really interesting. It is a fact of life that racism is something that we deal with. Maybe not everyone deals with it, but I thought that was an interesting point to bring up in the book. And now, that all being said, I am rating this 1 tail out of 5. It just wasn't for me. Though I liked the discussion of racism, though I liked the creature itself, there just wasn't enough that I liked about the book for me to reread it or maybe even finish it. This is a book that I felt I should have DNF'd, like I said. So, that all being said, 1 tail out of 5 is my rating. It just wasn't for me. On to the next. The next book by FLINT Maxwell that I read is The Whispers. A little bit about the plot of this one. First, thunder. Then the power fails. But it's when the fog rolls in that the real dangers become apparent, with the strange figures lurking in the depths, whispering in everyone's heads. My thoughts on The Whispers by FLINT Maxwell. So first off, love the supernatural, not fond of apocalyptic reads. And this one has both elements into it. But there was balance to this book in both the pace and in the elements and tropes that were used in it. So I love that. Now, the characters are pretty well developed for it being such a short, small read. It did have a good amount of different survival instincts between the characters, how they differed, and how some of them were the same thinking. There was a lot of good close calls in this book where it got your heart pumping and you were just like, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. So really love that. And again, for its length, it had a really good amount of action in it as well. It wasn't just so much sitting around waiting for the world to end. It was more like, let's not sit around and get the heck out of here. Like, I love that. That was great. And the monsters or creatures, whatever you want to call them in this book, the supernatural beings, were really interesting. They have their abilities, their appearance, the way that they attacked. It was all really unique and interesting to me. Sorry, camera died. So like I was saying, the abilities, the appearances, and their attack methods were all really, really unique and fresh. And I was really there for it. I thought the creatures or the supernatural element was really well done in this book. And so was the apocalyptic side of it. I enjoyed it, really did. So that all being said, I'm rating this one 4 tails out of 5. There's a few things I would have changed about this book in regards to the development of characters, and the ending kind of would have wrapped it up a little differently. But I really did enjoy this book, which made up for me reading The Creature, even though I felt I should have DNF'd it. So The Whispers by FLINT Maxwell, I am rating 4 tails out of 5. A really good read, really short. If you like the supernatural, if you like apocalyptic, give this a go, because it's a really good, fast read, and it was really well done, really well balanced, really well paced, and I enjoyed it. The Whispers by FLINT Maxwell. Well, critters, that's all from this Den of Frights today. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Your support means the whole wide and wild wilderness to me. It really does, critters. And until next time, stay cozy and stay spooky. Bye.